All right, we are going live in Clubhouse right now. Join us over there in the app if you have Clubhouse, and if you need an invitation, let me know. All right, I am Crystal Arthur, your functional wholeness coach, owner and founder of Functional Faith Wholeness Coaching. I started Functional Faith because I once was lost, but now I've found a faith that works. With empathy, simplicity, and functional frameworks, my mission is to guide millennial leaders from the fruit to the root of dysfunction, disorders, diagnosis, disruptions, and doubt, to discovering the freedom and fulfillment found in a holistic and healing spirituality. What's holding you back? Are you ready to experience the divine all the time? Then you're in the right place. So, this morning we are talking about triggers for emotional eating. And we're going to talk about three things this morning. We're going to talk about we're going to talk about three things today. Triggers for emotional eating. We're going to talk about first, not having a plan. Second, having too strict of a plan. And third, having too loosey goosey of a plan. Okay, so first, not having a plan. Okay, so not having a plan can be a trigger for emotional eating because if you don't plan to succeed, you're planning to fail, right? That kind of goes without saying in every area of our lives where we're trying to accomplish anything. Um, when it comes to food, so the whole reason I thought of this topic for today is because I've been struggling with emotional eating a little bit myself just in the past day, right? And I noticed it towards the end of the day yesterday, and I was like, am I emotionally eating? And here's why it's a question for me. Because I don't when I emotionally eat, I'm not eating junk food. Like we don't keep junk food in our house, which that in and of itself is a trigger. When you see something that you know is not life giving for your body, this can be anything. Then it can trigger you if it's something that you love to eat it and or consume it. And so, but I didn't notice it because it's more obvious when you're, especially when I was pregnant, when I would like run to Burger King because I just was craving a Whopper for no apparent reason. But it's obvious when it's junk foods, but we don't keep junk foods in our house. We haven't had refined sugar in our house. I think ever, at least since I've gotten married. Um, we don't keep chips. If there are chips in my house, it's because my sister-in-law loves me and she brings me some of those chips from Breadco, from Panera Bread, which those aren't that bad for you, right? Those are healthier. So we don't really have junk food here. But we have, by way of things for me to cheat on, is butter and more butter. And that's only because I'm dairy intolerant, but I'm in denial about being dairy intolerant, at least when it comes to butter and sheep's cheese, I would say, sheep and goat cheese, because I'm like, oh, I buy the expensive Kerrygold. Okay, I should be able to have that. But anyway, something that can be a trigger is just having foods that you can't consume. By can't, I mean aren't best for you, aren't going to serve you the most in your home, right? So what is that for you? Is it a health food that just isn't what's helpful for you? Specifically with the butter and sheep or goat's cheese, with me, I don't even really get tummy upset anymore, or at least not that I might deny it a little bit, but where I can't deny is with my face. I have adult acne because I have PCOS, and so I really have to be careful with what I eat and how I live my life to keep my hormones balanced and to keep my insulin levels balanced, right? Um, and so, hey, sweetie, mommy's on a call. Thank you. And so that I can't deny it when I'm having a breakout that I have been having dairy and dairy in excess. Um, so maybe for you, you can tell that you're eating something that isn't best for your body because you're a little bit more groggy, you're a little bit more irritable, you're a little bit less regular, something along those lines. So that is a trigger. Is having these foods in our home that aren't serving us. Um, but and that if we have a plan to not purchase those foods and a plan instead to purchase foods that we know are satisfying, that aren't going to leave us hungry throughout the day, that are going to give us energy if we have a meal plan, for instance. And it doesn't have to be when I meal plan, I don't necessarily plan meals all the time. I do have a meal planning service that I use. And in that case, I do plan actual meals, but sometimes I just plan ingredients to have that I know I can make a combination of meals with. So the plan, so moving on to another thing that can be a trigger for emotional eating is having too strict of a plan, right? And this might be different than what you were expecting for these triggers, right? Maybe you thought I was going to say your husband coming home late or your kids acting up. Well, I think we know that those are triggers for emotional eating. We can kind of identify the emotions, perhaps, maybe not. And if not, let me know. But I think that it's really when we have that emotion, how what triggers us to eat, to follow through with eating rather than doing something different. Um, Having too strict of a plan can be that. So if we are always dieting, following this fad diet and that fad diet, or even if it's not a fad diet, maybe it's a diet that's been around for a very long time, and is a very healthy diet, a very good diet for most people, and even a good diet for ourselves. If we follow something too strictly, then we can feel like we're depriving ourselves. And we all kind of have innate built in us this need to reward ourselves. And we can think, man, I've been just working so hard. I got so much done today. Like yesterday, I really I posted that I felt like a boss because with a broken finger, by the way, this finger is broken. I probably shouldn't be moving it so much, but whatever. Um, with the broken finger, I kept the kids and I disassembled my Dyson for the first time and deep cleaned it. And I steam mopped my floor with my new steam mop. So I thought there was a learning curve there, right? And just felt like a boss. And at the end of the day, I was like, I mean, I deserve a little bit of ice cream for all that. Now, once again, ice cream for me is like coconut milk, the $6 for this much ice cream. You know what I'm talking about? But at the end of the day, I had already identified that I had been emotionally eating, and I never admitted what that was with. That was with these grain-free tortilla chips that were nacho flavored. They they're so good. They're so good, and it's not that they weren't healthy. That wasn't even what was most important to me. It was just identifying that I'm using this as an escape, right? I'm using this. I'm emotionally eating right now. I'm letting out my emotions in a way that isn't really with my God. And that's how I want to let out my emotions. I want to wrestle with and detangle my emotions um, with spirit, in spirit, and in truth. And the truth of the matter was, I had some emotions going on that had me kind of just I ate the whole bag. Okay. I told my husband, I was like, I'm sorry. I was not being considerate of you. And I just ate this whole bag of chips. Um, anyway, so having too strict of a plan can lead to us binge eating or emotionally eating because we feel like we have been depriving ourselves. Um, and so also having too loosey goosey of a plan. Um, when we have kind of a plan, when the plan is just, I'm going to eat healthier, that can lead to us emotionally eating too, because we don't have any sort of structure, any sort of rhythm in our lives and rhythm in our days to actually uh, eat for thriving and surviving rather than eating for feeling. And maybe I should go into a little bit. So yesterday, like I said, I had this broken finger. I had all the kids, and I didn't have a plan. I every day the plan is to eat well and to feed the kids well. And I keep healthy foods in my home. So I have that plan part of it taken care of. But my plan was too loose yesterday, especially with my finger hurting a little bit. I didn't have a plan of what I was going to cook in light of everything that I wanted to get done. And so the emotion that the way I ended up emotionally eating due to a loosey goosey plan yesterday was because the kids would be hungry and I hadn't planned anything and I would just be reacting to them. Like, fine, whatever. Yeah, just eat the chicken nuggets. They're gluten-free chicken nuggets, but nevertheless, it was just like, fine, yeah, just eat the leftover pizza, just eat the chicken nuggets, just whatever. I need you to clean up. Okay, fine, just eat a cookie. Which I never gave them that cookie. Oh snap! That's okay because Daddy brought home some dairy-free strawberry ice cream for them. That was their little treat that they all got to share a little bit of a pint because that those dairy-free ice creams still have plenty of sugar in them. Let me tell you. So, so anyway, that's how having too loose of a plan yesterday. A plan. I had healthy foods in my home, but too loose of a plan led to me emotionally eating and feeding the kids um, because it was just reactive rather than responding to the different parts of the day. It's lunchtime. This is what we are going to eat. So I hope that was helpful. Um, Taking it a step further would be looking into the root, right? That's kind of the surface. Okay, how do we manage these emotions when they come up? But let's go into what we're actually experiencing. I'm going to go into that a little bit more tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be things that can cause disruptions to triggers, things that trigger disruptions in our faith, right? We talk about functional faith and but what does a dysfunctional faith look like? What are some things that can trigger a dysfunctional faith? That will be tomorrow at 8 a.m., both live and on Clubhouse. So I hope that you're able to join us tomorrow. And today, I'm going to just touch on it lightly. For me, yesterday, I was in my feelings about something and kind of wrestling with, wanting to have attain a certain level of education to have a certain title or certification or licensure. But I really had to reel it in and remember that I'm doing things the way that I'm doing because I want people to understand it's about democratization. I feel very strongly about democratization across the board, specifically in the areas of healthcare and soul care. By that, I mean empowering you to take authority and to know how to listen to your body, listen to your mind, and listen to your spirit so that you can be the leader over your health, your spiritual health, your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health. You can stand in the seat of authority and make informed decisions, informed choices about how best to serve yourself and how best to serve God. So, yeah, so that was where I was emotionally yesterday and why what led to my emotional eating. And I'm going to share some about how I got to that conclusion, how I kind of found in myself, oh, this is kind of egoic. I'm in my feelings because I'm in my ego. I'm thinking about me rather than us. Right? So we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. I hope that you can join us. Until then, go in peace and presence.